Hey everybody, I'm Tom Vasel, and today we're taking a look at a cute little game called Faction Fighters. So on the front of this game, you see someone who my kids said looks just like Spike from My Little Ponies, and the card and the card play is going to have a similar feel to Pokemon, right? You're getting power orbs and you're powering up your people. But what attracted me to this was it was a two-player game, 15 minutes. And I like that sort of thing, 15-minute fast little games. And it said 8+, and I thought my kids might enjoy this. So let's check it out, and we'll be right back. This game comes with a bunch of boxes that are inside this box here, like this. And one of the box has 2 player decks in it. So each player is going to get a deck of cards. And as the game goes by, when you play a new faction, so when you open, this is like a scenario, you'll have some scenario cards to play for that scenario, but it will also add some more cards that you can stick into your deck. You have these different characters, some are legendary, there's only one of those. You'll have one legendary in your deck. Then you have these groups here. These are called triple factions, and there's double factions. And so there's like a specific way to build your deck. But you'll have a deck, and at the beginning of each game, you're going to draw 5 cards into your hand from that deck. But you will also add your bluff card. In this case, it's called Bluffy, and a starting power orb. So this would be your starting hand. Like I said, you'll play a scenario, and so I'm showing you one of the scenarios here. This is the beginning one here, which is Starfall Fields. And so in each round of the game, each player will always play one character from their hand face down. You then may play one or more cards behind that one, but you have to follow a few rules. When you play a card, that card is part of a faction. So this is part of the Metagon faction here. I would have to play a card from the same faction, so I could play Galzier. These two will work together and be at strength of 9. There's also wild cards, which can go to any faction, can add to that. You can also play power orbs if you have them. If you play these, they're destroyed, they're out of the game. But what a power orb will do is it will activate any special ability that you might want to activate. Like this says, if you have the most fighters in play, this guy gets 5 strength. Search your deck for a legal fighter of 3 or with less strength and play it. Then shuffle your deck. So I can activate either of those powers with this power orb. You also, let's say I don't want to play, or I'm just playing one character, you also can play your Bluffy card. You'll get that back in your hand every round. So this is something that you can play. You'll reveal them, and what will happen is whoever has the highest total, after using power orbs and all that stuff, wins the card in the middle. In this case, this is worth a victory point. Yay. Then whoever loses will take their lowest character, so let's say this is the only person they played, and that is destroyed and out of the game. This just goes to a discard pile. You'll draw back up. The next card will come, and you can see the cards that are coming. So in this case, it's a 3 victory point. But this one here is 3 power orbs. So this deck just is a bunch of 1 and 3 victory points. There's one in here that also lets you, the winner draws a card too. So there's things like that. Once all these cards are gone, you simply add together the points, and whoever has the most points wins. The game also comes with a scenario book, which has a very, very okay comic in it. And then walks you through each of the different boxes and tells you how you can play them in order. And it also tells you what all the different event cards, like this one, if you don't defeat this card, both players must discard a random card. It excludes bluffies, things like that. And then there's new factions that have been unlocked that I showed you that come in the boxes. Anyway, that's how you play. It's a pretty quick, fast game. Okay, so Faction Fighters is a game that misses the mark for me because of one major rule. And that rule is that the loser gets rid of a card. If that rule wasn't in the game, I think this might go up to a 7. Maybe. I still think, so a smaller problem is luck, right? You just get the cards that you need, the combos that you need. When a valuable card comes out, and you can say, well, you should save and wait for the cards that are worth more points. And that's true, but when they're all worth points, or there's a lot of 3 points in there, you want to win. And you're trying to outguess your opponent in a rock, paper, scissors sort of style, but you have no idea what they're going to play. And so it's really frustrating when you play a high character and your opponents play greater than you. They outplayed you, fine. But the problem with the game is the winner outplays the loser. Okay, that works. You know, I played more cards than you. I get a reward. But also, loser, whoosh, lose a card from the game. I just don't know how that went through playtesting, because a winner gets better. The loser should get something, not get smacked around. A zero-sum game, you can say the winner gets something, the loser gets nothing, fine. The problem here is the loser is going to get worse. They lose a low card, fine, it's their lowest card, but their lowest card might be a high card, and you're like, well, then you shouldn't just play only a high card, but sometimes that's your only option, or you thought you were going to win, and so you lose that high card, and then when we shuffle the decks, I have an advantage on you. Now, this is not a huge thing. Again, it's a 15-minute game. But that's coupled with the artwork is fine, in my opinion. The rules are a little more complex than kids are going to be able to handle, I think. But it looks too cutesy, I think, for most adults. So this game doesn't have a big audience. And so there's a lot of cool concepts in here, but at the end of the day, I got to give this one a 5. I wanted to like it more. I don't actually dislike the concept of the game, the idea of playing and smaller cards work together and you can build a group of them, and there's a bluff card, which becomes less of a bluff as the game goes by. I'm playing one card. Is it the bluff card? Well, probably, because you run out of cards after a while. But, and the different boxes with different scenarios sounds cool, and being able to build decks. But also, you really have no idea. I mean, I guess if you play a lot of times, you can memorize every card in your opponent's deck and say, oh, they can play this, which is like a collectible card game. And I don't know that's what people are looking for in a 15-minute game. So, Faction Fighters, one I had higher hopes for, but just it's a valiant effort. I think it could be a good game. Right now, though, it isn't for me. I'm Tom Vasel, and you've been watching The Dice Tower.